Breathe in. Welcome to What the Fuchs with Jess Fuchs. Now breathe out. And scream. Because here's what's pissed Jess off this week. Okay, you trying some okay, welcome. I have my second special guest.
Oh, that is good.
Is that good?
That's
it's gluten-free.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about GF?
I'm for it because I get a little inflamed gut.
Oh, do you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's part of... Did you learn that from your 75 Hard?
Yeah, returning to gluten, it was a big shock. But can I just say...
Yes.
We're started, right?
Yeah, we started.
We're on.
You've heard the podcast. It's very
I just want to say...
Why do you wait till we...
And you're going to hate this.
Oh, wait, I didn't even...
You're going to hate this, but
Yeah.
I just want to gas you up for about 2 minutes. Because if... You're listening, you obviously love Jess, and there is no one more that I love more than Jess. And I just believe that Australia should be researching you as a source of natural energy. And how do we frack Jess?
Because I agree. How do we frack
Jess? How do we frack Jess? And also, you've just got such an incredible energy, and you make me snort with laughter. And I'm a true fan of this
you're
podcast.
A believer.
We need a... Do you have a name for your fans?
No, I know. I've been thinking about that. But really, the fans are just you and then my family.
Like everyone who's currently present in the house.
It's just basically everyone who's accounted for in this house at the moment.
It reminds me of Princess Diaries. Do you know how they do that live podcast?
Oh my God, it's Lily.
It's Lily.
I'm Lily with the red hair. I know.
Heather Matarazzo.
I need your... I need you to disseminate this information to more people.
That's why we're here.
It's true. That's why we are here.
But
Tim's the first guest that that was asked and allowed to be on.
And also, I probably asked you.
Yeah, no, you asked.
Because I'll listen to this podcast as... So I'll wake up, I'll get the notification, new episode, and so
also,
I will...
you know the podcast comes out at 5 a.m. for you.
Like, so I'll press play as soon as I wake up, and then that'll take me into the shower. I'm listening in the shower, I'm having my breakfast, and then it'll get me about halfway to work.
Yep.
And then I'll be like, oh, fuck, it's over. I've blown my load too quickly.
Absolutely. We've all
and
been
then I'll go home and then have my dinner to the video on YouTube.
See?
And that's
why my numbers are really growing steadily.
And I'll give you a thumb up and a comment. Okay. Because I'm always like, comment. This is quality content. And I need to support my divas.
I need the engagement up higher. I know that it's a slow burn. Also, my outfit today, because some episodes I'll wear a good outfit and then some I don't.
I loved the bow.
Did you?
I loved the bow.
Okay. The bow. The problem with the bow, well, first of all, it was hand stitched. I texted you and I said if you'd believe it, which you said you would.
I did, yeah.
And also, I didn't stitch it. Let me be clear. One of my gays, Gabriel, he stitched it. Okay, so you know the format. You know what you're doing here. Well. You know why you're here. So we'll just dive right in. Oh, well, unless you want... If you're watching this, you know that Tim's just eating cake.
I'm eating a delicious slice.
If you're just listening, you know that... you can hear... You're actually a quiet eater.
Thank you.
But I mean, the cake is just glup, so you're just swallowing it, basically.
It's a coffee chocolate mud cake. It is delicious.
My mum's best friend made
it. It is absolutely delicious.
Yeah, it's good.
Very grateful for this cake. But that's not why we're here. We're here to be angry. So
yeah, I know. But so I told you have to bring a couple items with you to discuss. Did you bring a few?
I bought 4. But
before we actually jump in, is there anything you want people to know about you?
I don't care.
Really?
And you know what I don't want to talk about? Memes.
Fuck, that's all. But you got one coming out last night. Okay, so Tim on his Instagram today gave people a warning. Also, this pterodactyl laugh. I'm screwed.
So this is my real life, and you kept me going.
But today Tim takes to social media, front camera in the car, and goes, anyway, so guys, there'll be a meme out tonight. I'm like, who warns? Who gives a warning?
And some sassy diva replied being like, about time, we've been waiting. And
oh my God.
Oh, get over it.
Okay, but also to have the kind of heat around a meme coming out is huge. Like, that's kind of iconic.
Watch it flop. Sorry.
What is it? It'll be out by the time this goes out.
What is it? Oh, so it's so millennial. It's like really? Me trying to make plans in my 30s, and it's Kath.
Is it Kath?
It's Kath being like, well, I've got Reiki on Monday. Yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like, if I'm not laughing, it'll probably do well online.
Oh yeah, isn't that depressing? It's so miserable. You're like, I love this, and then no one likes it, and then you go, whatever, I'll just put this out, it doesn't, I hate this, and then 12 million views. It's like, what the hell? But, okay, you don't want to talk about memes.
Well, no, it's just like...
You don't need to, I don't care.
It's just very two-dimensional. It's kind of like the only reason why I get invited on podcasts is like, so memes.
Really?
And I'm like, yeah.
I can't imagine.
I know, nor can I.
And what's your usual answer?
Oh, I'm just... I'm just a bit like, yeah, I think of something, I put a video to it. That's it.
It's also funny because memes, I feel like what kills me is like people build entire careers off memes, but
Which I did.
No, yeah, but it seems so easy for you. You're so good at it. Like I'll be texting you and I'm like, this is just your Instagram page, but live.
Oh,
it's amazing.
Yeah, we do like live in like context memes, which I think are my favorite. The internal memes.
Well, you're so fast
memes.
On the, like, I think, didn't you put something out for Ray Gun?
Again, that was something where I was like, oh, just roll my eyes out like Ray Gun. Like,
yeah, I know.
Sorry, I like love it, but I was like, I know.
Do you?
No, but I just know that like everyone will eat this up. Like it's topical and people will be like,
but that's social media.
I know.
Which like whatever. We don't even have to deep dive into that.
So like,
no. Well, then should we just dive right into what your four are?
Yeah,
I have a couple as well, and because my phone is filming us, I've just gone old school.
Analog.
But you go first because I've only got 3, so I think we go 1, 2. We'll just dive in.
Yeah. So my first one's a personal one. Well, they're all personal, but
okay.
Do
you need your phone to read?
No, I remember them. Okay. But
wow, she's prepared.
I might start with a more interesting one.
Great.
Yeah, okay. So, which is a good thing for a body.
Which is totally good because we are trying to keep people listening to this.
Yeah,
okay.
exactly. The listen time.
Are you going to listen back to this episode?
God, yeah. I want it on my tombstone, a QR code, and it just links straight to this podcast episode. This will be...
Stop!
This is my legacy.
You put so much pressure.
This is my legacy.
I'm so worried.
I'm also so on it.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, first one, Strata. And just as a bucket,
okay.
And this might be an unrelatable hate.
Yes.
But my Strata company have put me through a lot of strife. Okay. I'm a homeowner. Yeah. Sorry about it. I have been saving...
Let's start with that.
I've been saving my whole life. I'm a fucking tight ass. I'm a huge tight ass.
Yeah.
And I've saved dime and dollar to get that apartment, right?
To get a place.
Anyway, so... 2 years ago, I renovated my kitchen.
Yes.
Right? The kitchen...
I can't believe that took 2 years, but yeah.
No, it didn't take 2 years.
No,
2 years ago.
It feels like you just finished it. Or am I...
No, that's bathroom.
Oh,
sorry.
bathroom.
Okay.
Sorry.
2 years ago, renovated the kitchen.
Yeah.
The kitchen it wasn't just cosmetic, it was actually non-functional. The oven didn't work. There was no dishwasher. It was... All the cupboards were like rotted with mold. So I was like, it was actually a functional thing over form.
Yeah.
Anyway. And so... I emailed them about doing the kitchen renovation, and they were like, because it's not major, you're not knocking down walls or anything, go for it.
You don't need approval.
Don't need approval, right? So I was like...
is the Strata... And usually if I was alone, I would Google this. So you can explain this to me. Is the Strata like a bunch... Is it like a company board? Like as in a bunch of people who live in the apartments just are on a board and approve things? Or is it like something more official?
They're like the police of the real estate market.
But who are they?
Exactly. Great question, Jess.
So we don't
just
actually...
a pack of losers. Sorry.
If you're on your building Strata, you're a fucking loser.
I would go hand on heart and say they're just like...
But how does one get into it?
It would be like... I'd be like, self-elected school captain.
Oh, it's SRC.
It's SRC.
Oh, yuck. Okay, gotcha.
It's that energy. Right,
okay,
anyways.
Yeah.
So they were like, play on. So I was like, great.
Okay.
Did the kitchen renovation. Took 2 weeks. It was great. Loved it. Came around to bathroom renovation, right? And I was like, I'm not doing any walls. Like, the walls are staying the same. The plumbing's staying the same. It's great.
Yeah.
Right? Anyway, so I was just like, well, I don't need to email them. So I told my neighbours that it might be a bit noisy for 2 days. They were fine with it. Anyway, I start vlogging the content on Instagram, and someone at my Strata saw it.
No.
And then I get narky email to be like, hi, Tim. We've seen a video of you online doing renovation on your bathroom. Can you fucking believe it? I was like, oh, the 3 people that saw that video, one of them had to be in my Strata.
The content doesn't hit many people, but it hit.
So one of you 7 ratted on me, right? Anyway, so because I redid the waterproofing belongs to Strata.
Excuse me? Isn't that just like a lick of paint on top?
Who would have thought? Anyway,
what is the waterproofing then? What the fuck?
It's like a tight membrane, yeah.
A tight membrane.
A tight membrane. But this bathroom hadn't been renovated since like the 80s. So I was like, if anything, I'm doing you guys a favour by refreshing this.
It just seems a bit like fuck off. Also, okay, but also, what's your stance on ask for forgiveness, not for...
Right.
Because that's kind of a bit better.
And I'm a by the rules kind of guy, right?
Yeah,
I'm terrified of authority, and if I know that there are rules, I will stick by them. I will abide the rules. I'm such a law-abiding citizen.
You really are, yeah.
Which is what I expressed to them. I was like, I just thought because of the kitchen renovation, it was same principle applied.
Yeah.
So ignorant, like hands up, like take me now, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I was like, surely someone with like basic human EQ would just be like, that's okay, Tim. Like mistakes happen.
Also, you didn't bash a wall down.
No, I didn't bludger a kid with a baseball bat.
Literally, you just put a new coat of something on a wall.
They were acting as if I had driven over their children in the driveway.
No.
Anyway, so they replied to this and they were like, not okay. And they were like, we have to have an emergency strata meeting. You need to pay to get a structural engineer out to make sure that this is all up to code. The structural engineer came over. He was there for maybe, I'm not even shitting you, 2.5 minutes. And he was like, so what's changed? And I was like, nothing. And he was like, yep, all looks good to go.
$200.
$2,500. $2,500.
For him to come?
$2,500. He was there for 2 minutes. And I was like, I'm in the wrong profession. I was like, Jesus Christ. Anyway, sent them that. They have the special meeting. Everyone in the building votes that my bathroom is okay. And I had to pay for that meeting.
Excuse me? For the meeting?
I had to pay for the meeting.
How much does the meeting cost? $1,000. Really?
Is that fucked? Anyway, so, and then I was like, who wins here? Who's winning? Because I was like, I know that this is like, it's the process. No, but it's the process.
It's actually technically it's the right thing to do. Actually, yeah.
It's the process. It's the process. And so I'm like, okay, but if I knew the process, I would have done that, surely.
But also that process is stupid.
But also I'm like, the bathroom looks stunning.
Yeah.
And they made my life hell. And I was like, can we not celebrate this? That I'm like a self-made girlie out here renovating.
And you've like renovated your kitchen, and can we not just be happy?
Can we? It looks so good.
Are you friends with anyone on the strata?
No.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
And the person who is self-appointed. And I was like, girl,
touch grass.
Touch grass.
Like, get out. Don't worry so much. I feel like people throw themselves too much into community in terms of like, you know, the people who like are really invested in like the street they live on because when they have nothing else. It's the same with like a strata. If your whole identity is built on the fact that you're like in this building,
girl,
I need you to like...
I just also want to emphasize that like there are good ways to get involved in your community.
Yes.
Like there are like,
but
you know...
policing it like that with like red tape that you're just like... Unfortunately,
this is the process. Unfortunately, this is the process. And I'm like...
Oh my God, yeah. Okay, so where are you now in the process?
The process. Or everything's been paid. They've stripped me dry. No one celebrated that I've finished the renovation. It looks stunning. Thank you. Yeah.
So you were going to make future changes. I don't get strata. Like, what's the fucking point of it?
I think it's a very like in your 30s moment where like you fight with the strata. Like I feel like
this is like a seminal 30.
I feel like it's a coming of age moment where like I've now had a battle with strata.
And you have come on the other side of it. And
I hope so. I could talk about this for 40 minutes.
No,
so
I love it because it's so foreign to me because I'm like, my strata are my parents. They're desperate to have me here. And they're desperate to keep me.
If they were my strata, I'd be living. No strata gave me cake. Sorry.
Not only cake, there were like 4 types of cake when you walked into this house.
It was like a bakery. They were like, what do you want?
You came on a good day, actually, because it's been birthdays and my mum made a cake and it wasn't good. So she made a new one. So then we got the cake
as like a good one?
No, this is someone else's cake.
Yeah, this is delish.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? This is the thing, right? I have no concept of like what it takes to purchase a house. Like I wouldn't even know where to start. Obviously outside of actually saving money, which I can't seem to do. But once you have the house or apartment,
right,
there's so much other stuff you have to do. Like buying a house or an apartment or a piece of land is not just like you buy it and then you just do what you want on it. There's also all these fucking rules around it. I'm like, what's the point of that? And I feel like no one like talks about that.
And also, it's supposed to be this most like the magical, joyous moment of your life, and it's been absolutely nothing but stress.
Do you reckon it would feel better if you had a house because then no one would annoy you? But are there still rules?
That's my dream. That's my dream. To like have to be like.
I could see you buying a little plot of land and building something on it, but you like physically building it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can.
Because that's my vision, and I really want animals. So.
Oh, okay.
And sorry, not to possess or own them, but like just to like vibe with them. I just want to be on land with goats. They are free goats.
Also, that's so like new age to be like, I would never own an animal. Like I couldn't own it, but they'll be free. But they'll be within the confines of they'll choose to live on my block of land.
They'll have the same rights and privileges as I.
Okay, what year are you doing this? I can't wait to come to drive out of Sydney.
As soon as I can afford.
Sell this strata bullshit and get yourself a plot of land.
No, as soon as that's the dream. That's the dream. That's what I'm working towards financially. Okay. Yeah.
And then what? You'll just live on a self-sufficient farm?
Not yet, but I just want to properties go up. So like I would like to get the land earlier and just.
Now, will you live on what if you ran like a meme empire from like a beautiful piece of like old school Amish style land? I think that would be fascinating.
Yeah, I don't want to disappoint anyone, but I think memes are.
You think they're done?
Well, no. I mean, just like it's not a future, baby girl. Like it's a bit of fun.
It's not a career.
It's a hobby. I keep reminding people that my memes are a hobby.
But if you put your whole...
I could put my whole puss into it, but yeah.
If you put your whole puss into it, you could make a living of that.
Sure, and I have.
Exactly.
I have.
I do think it's possible, but we're not here to talk about memes.
No, we're not.
Okay, do you have anything else about the Strata that's been pissing you off? I don't know enough to really get heavily involved in this. All I know is that it sounds stupid.
I will tie this up by just saying that the Four Corners did an investigation into fraudulent Strata companies in this country, and Brighton Duggan was top billing on that. So if you want to go research that, I'm looking at you, Brighton and Duggan.
Yeah.
And I don't need to call you out.
One of my audience members is Brighton.
Brighton Duggan.
Brighton. His name's Brighton.
Oh, yeah.
Brighton Duggan. So he's the...
No, it's not. It's Bright and Duggan.
Oh, I thought it was a man whose name is Brighton Duggan.
No.
Okay.
No.
But I haven't watched this episode of Four Corners, as you can tell. Wow.
But they're doing my heavy lifting for me.
Okay, good. Okay, so I'll put a link in the show notes to this Four Corners episode. There's going to be a
national inquiry, I think. So
really?
Yeah.
But what's going to happen to these people? Nothing.
I hope a lot.
But do you think anything?
The worst. I
put him in jail.
Yeah, lock him up.
Is that possible? Call me crazy. I don't really have any faith in government. Is that too heavy? Let me move on to my first point.
Well, I'm sitting with that, but...
Well, look, I'm going to sit with that. Yeah, and I know that they do stuff, but I also don't have much faith.
Funnily enough, I was just partying with some people who work at Gov over the weekend.
Really?
And they're actually, believe it or not, fun crowd. But
yeah, I'm sure.
I was like, you work at Gov? Anyway, they're working like foreign policy and stuff like that.
But I think a lot of people who work in those kinds of environments, same as like if you've ever... like doctors, nurses. No, because I think it's these jobs that are like kind of these nerds who grew up dorky and then they're so smart and then they specialize in something and it's so hectic, the job, and then they kind of go so hard.
These guys were like sesh goblins.
Really?
In the best possible way. Love them.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. They were
fascinating.
So one of my best friends works Gov and he was saying that he's like, now that I'm on the other side, he was like, I can see why things just take so long.
Yeah, because there's so much. It seems like there's a lot of like red tape. Talk about red tape.
Strata on steroids.
Strata, and it's just Strata in what's
God, they love a
Canberra.
Process.
Yeah, I know. So much gets bullshit locked down in process. It feels like, but I think that's everything. Even I feel that for my life. Okay. Also, I'm screaming at the idea of throughout this episode you just finish a piece of cake. Like.
Don't think this is the first and only as well.
I'll be getting you a cookie at halftime.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
That. The sugar high is going to be
Well, I'm
wild.
so sorry to hear about the Strata situation. I wish I had more anger. I mean, I have plenty of anger toward my Strata committee, who are my parents, but also you've seen the place. It's pretty...
It's stunning.
It's kept up in good nick, as they say. Like, I can't really complain.
If this was a hotel, I'd be checking in.
Yeah. 100%. Well, whenever I have friends stay over, because I've had a bunch of different people stay here, we always refer to it as the Hotel Motel Holiday Inn, or rehab, because I've had like people who get broken up with, they move in, they get kicked out of their house, they move in, you can move in for any reason, really.
I was just about to say, what do I got to do?
Anything, just have a small mental breakdown. Maybe at 7:45 tonight when your meme goes live and it doesn't do well, you can just have a you can like pretend you're going to like slit your wrist and then you can move in and we'll look after you.
I would love that.
This house is, my dad growing up used to, did your parents ever do this where they would like rescue animals? My dad used to rescue...
My parents went around.
So they didn't even rescue you. Okay, fascinating. My parents are always around, as you know, as you can see. That's the thing. I can't go too heavy in on the parent stuff because they are 1/3 of my listener base. The other third being on the pot itself.
Present.
And my parents present in the kitchen. Now I'm going to just jump right into my first point, which is kind of relevant, and I swear to God I did write this before you got here. But when someone doesn't tell you have something on your face, because I just told you it's something on your face, that was my first point. I swear to God.
That makes you angry?
Yes, it's rude when someone doesn't tell you.
I actually, again, bringing Saturday back into the room, was with a person that I just met.
Yeah.
And he had like a piece of string in his hair.
Tell them.
And I went straight for it.
Yes.
I pinched it off and he went, thank you.
That's right. It's so rude. I was with a group of friends. One of them had something on her lip, and I was on my computer and I look over and she's got this like big white thing on her lip. So I said, hey, just go like this. And then she was like, what? None of the rest of you going to say anything?
Fake friends.
And it's rude because also I've had that before. And then when you've got that and you go to the bathroom and then you look in the mirror and you're like, I've been sitting at a table with people for 15 minutes with spinach on my face. I'm like, that is so fucking embarrassing.
And also sometimes I get like into the car or something, look at myself in the rearview mirror, my hair's fucked. And I'm like, they just sit through.
But hair's hard.
But also,
because what if you
intentional?
Because if you ever said to someone like, "Oh, you've got something just here," and they're like, "It's a pimple,"
but you could say, "Oh, trying out a new hairstyle," you know,
as a response.
No, you could just be like, I'd be like, "Oh, you're trying something new with your hair," or like, and you'd be like, "No," and they'd be like, "Oh, it looks different," and then I'd look and I'd be like, "Oh no, shit, it's it's awful.
Intentional."
No, or like, "Oh no, thanks, no, it's not supposed to look like that."
What if you go, "Oh my God, I'm going to take a photo of you." And then
Tell me what you think.
Of you, and then you can go, oh, that doesn't look right. Well, there's got to be a soft hair is a hard one.
Well, my housemate did that to me last week at lunch, took a photo of me, and I looked at it, I was like, oh my God, is that what my hair looks like? So
he was doing that on purpose?
Maybe. And that's maybe why. Because but I thank
you wouldn't, if you think someone looks like shit, you're not offering to take a photo of them. True. Unless you're doing it on purpose. But I just find it incredibly rude when people don't say that you've got something on your face. I think that is like literally like top 5 rudest things.
Jess, I think there's a lot in like common social society that is rude and people don't realise.
Really? Give me another one. I'm trying to think of one that I also think is rude. You know what I think's rude? Simple one. Hi, how are you? You go, good. I'll just kill myself then. Why am I here? Or if, I have some friends who will always say the same answer. How are you? Fine. I'm like, are you living at a 5 all the time?
I think it's... Just a base level 5.
Just a base level 5.
I think it's rude, and this might be... I hope this is the popular opinion. Mm-hmm. But if so I go, hi, I'm Tim, and you go, yeah, I know we've met before.
Mm-hmm. The clink.
I would say, help me out, and just say... Hi, yeah, we met before at Jess's birthday party. And then I go, oh, yeah, of course. That's context. Right.
Yeah.
But don't be saying, yeah, we've met before and not help me fill in the blanks.
I know.
And what I will do...
But are you good with remembering people?
I'm good at faces. And that's why sometimes I'm like, I don't think we have met because I would remember you. I would at least remember the face.
No, some people really unmemorable, no offense.
And
some people really unmemorable.
What I'll do is if I'm unsure if they know me, I'll go, hi, Amy Shark. We met last year at the Marie Claire Awards. And she'll go, yes, Tim, of course I remember you. She doesn't remember.
No, she doesn't remember. You've at least contextualized how you know each other.
I've given her my name and how we know each other.
Yes.
And that's what you do.
Yeah.
But don't be, yeah, we've met before.
Yeah, that's
because
rude.
I'm like, well, if we have, I'm like, we meet clearly, so many people. And I wouldn't do that to be intentionally rude.
I was saying this to someone the other night because I'll go, sometimes in a week, if I'm doing a bunch of big shows, I could meet upwards of like 100 people in a week between the people who work at the venue, the new comedians, some audience who I speak to after, like whoever it is, I could meet 100 people in a week. I'm not remember, and also lots of people aren't very memorable.
Do you know what the last time this happened to me? So met a friend of a friend. I went, hi, I'm Tim. Yeah, we've met before. And I went, oh, really? When? And she went, at Lulu's 18th.
I'm 18. Oh, so we're talking a decade now.
I'm 31. You're telling me we met 13 years ago.
And you don't remember exactly who I am?
At my friend's little sister's 18th.
No.
So I'm like, oh yeah, sure. Yeah, nice to see you again.
It must feel good you made an impression. As in, obviously, you're
memorable. It doesn't, because I'm like, you think I'm being an asshole, and I'm not. I just didn't remember meeting you once 13 years ago. That's cool.
It's not great, but there are people that I've met upwards of 3 to 4 times, and I'll never remember them. Like
Sure, they're forgettable.
Okay, so one of my friends,
I think it's more exposing of them.
Do you? Well, yeah, they've made no impact.
Because on the contrary,
just truly.
On the contrary,
yes,
I was in Melbourne earlier this year, maybe in April.
Yeah.
A guy came up to me and he went,
here we go.
Tim, and I went, Lockie. We met once on a night out in London 6 years ago. And I was like...
Yes, because some people...
He's 6'5", gorgeous, stunning. And he is so funny. And I was like, I could never forget you.
Just had, yes.
And we had a very fun night together.
That's what it is. You could never forget someone like that. There are some people that just are memorable. And then there are some people that fall... One of my friends, he's got a friend who is... I couldn't tell you his name. I've met him upwards of 15 times.
Sure.
And every time I go to my friend, who's that? And he goes, you've met him 15 times. His name's like David or Davidson or maybe it's something completely different. And it's now a running joke with our friends because I literally don't remember who this person is. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but he is the most unmemorable person.
Who's that on then? Is that on you or him? Because I'm always painted out to be... rude in that situation, and I promise you, you hand on heart, I would go to great lengths to not be intentionally rude.
But how often is it happening that you're the forgotten person?
That I'm forgotten?
I'm very seldom forgotten.
Yours?
I'm rarely.
Same.
I'm always remembered.
However, I will give benefit of the doubt and reintroduce myself. I reintroduce myself lots.
Yes,
because I will go...
You're good with social situations like that.
I will say, I am Tim and we met blank.
But also, I don't
Or I'm a friend of Jess's.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've met before. I'm a friend of Jess's.
Yeah, but again, like
before they've even said it.
I know, but you're forgetting because if most people, when you go, hi, how are you? And they just answer good, those people don't have good social skills, which I'm going to say 95% of the world doesn't have good social skills.
Particularly.
Or just like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll stick with that percentage.
I would say as we get progressively further online, I think people forget how to rally. Well, they've never learnt. But I don't know. I learned to volley and riff at a young age.
Yeah, because of your friends? Because you're bullied?
Because I was bullied. I had to fight back, yeah.
I'm just taking it.
No.
Because I'm good at riffing because it was like older kids would give me shit and so I just had to be able to outwit them.
No, I think it's because I have two older sisters and they always had friends over.
Oh, okay,
and so then I think I just buy Simosis? What is it? Simosis? What is it called? Samosas? Samosas. A samosa. By Sidmosis? Samosa.
Osmosis.
Like
because you're around people?
Because if you're the baby...
is a food.
Yeah. Which I love. I think just because you're around older people, you just learn how to
actually talk to older people, which I feel like is always that thing, when you meet only children who are you looking at yourself because in case you got an upskirt?
I just wanted to make sure I wasn't,
No, it looks good.
Upskirting the whole
I think it looks really
internet.
good.
Yeah.
I think also being like, have you ever met those only children or I feel like it's 90% of the people I meet who are only children who were around a lot of adults growing up and you're a little psycho because you've always had to be able to speak to because you've always been around adults.
They matured early.
And then it's kind of this weird... I know a couple only children who I'm like, you're an only child and you're a freak. I don't know a single well-adjusted only child.
Oh, actually, sorry. No, one of my very good friends, Ellie's an only child and she's excellent. Normal, very normal. Oh, sorry. She's like me, so... I don't know if I'm the baseline. I don't know if I'm the baseline of normal, but I was like, she's similar to me.
I just think only children are bizarre because they've always had to be around adults, and then also you don't have anyone to relate to. Nothing. There's nothing better than calling my sister and be like, strap in.
Well, don't be doing that and save it for the podcast because
I know.
Or just
who do you think the primary person is on the
press record?
Who do you think's listening to this podcast?
Yeah. God, I'd love to meet her.
You met her. It's my mum downstairs. Oh, my sister?
No, your sister.
You'll meet her. She's ridiculous.
Yeah.
She's arguably the most fuckless person I've ever met, but is so accomplished. It's bizarre.
Give a fuck? Because she's a doctor, yeah?
Yeah, she's a doctor, but she is so fuckless in a weird way. Okay, let's move on to another point. What other angle point? Mine was quite simple.
Oh, okay. My next one. Mm-hmm. Okay. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm strapped in and ready.
My next one, funny that we're doing this on a podcast, or maybe ironic.
It's going to be podcast.
Over-analysis.
Oh. In what capacity?
I actually, for me, online discourse is down the gutter, right?
Okay.
And I actually don't think you can have meaningful conversations online anymore.
Then what the hell are we doing here? Let's dig into something meaty.
I don't think it's actually just not worth your time or energy.
Even long form?
No, sorry, long form, fine. I'm talking meaningful, I mean like...
in the comments?
Let's really like deep dive into like why it's problematic to use plastic bags. And I'm like, we don't need to explore that. Like, we should just innately know as adults not to use single-use plastic.
But I think people talk about things in lieu of doing something. So I think if I'm like, I listen to the most amazing deep dive 3-hour podcast about plastic bags and why they're terrible. Look around, there's plastic everywhere in my house. But I've told you that I'm listening to it, so that's like I'm doing something about it. A lot of it's
virtue signaling, but also a bit like it's exhaustive, and nothing makes my alarm bells go off more when someone says, "Oh, I watched this TikTok series, and it was all about like the stuffed animal industry and why it's terrible," and I'm like. Okay, I'm suddenly very busy, and I'm never gonna see you,
and I don't want your opinion
ever again because I'm like, you need to spend less time online, or let your content that you're absorbing be very low touch point.
I just think in general we know too much now. Humans, you know that fire was discovered simultaneously around the world in 7 different places when people were like cavemen or whatever. I just know that one stat from when I studied sociology.
TikTok series.
That's not TikTok series. That was at university, unfortunately. But I'm sure a TikTok series does document that. But that's because people were just like living. And I feel like now we just... like they were cold and they didn't have a lot of information, so they just had to figure stuff out. We just know too much. I hate that I can Google anything.
And also...
Or even find... Like, someone once told me they watched a documentary about, like, the history of, like, typography or some shit. I'm like, don't worry about that.
Can I just say, I think that age-old saying, ignorance is bliss, partly true.
I agree.
And I love my housemate Zach so much. When we went out for my birthday lunch, we got mocktails, and he had... never in his life heard about mocktails. He didn't know they didn't know they existed.
Because he drinks heavily? Who doesn't know about a mocktail?
But he'd never heard of a mocktail. And I was like, I would love to live in that head for 5 minutes. I was like, that must be so beautiful. I was like, that is so
How did he feel finding out about a mocktail?
Because he was like, mocktails. He's like, is that just like a cocktail without alcohol? And I was like, yeah, have you never heard of them? And he was like,
good on him for also putting the pieces together.
Yeah, but he's 26.
I don't know I don't know if you're surprised in a good way or a bad way with this issue.
No, I'm pleasantly heartwarmed by going, that's such a nice...
An adult not knowing something.
It's just refreshing. I was like, that is really lovely.
For him to not know what a mocktail is.
But also like, why should he?
Yeah, I agree. Why should he?
No, but do you know what I mean?
No, I do. I think that we know too much.
And we're expected to know everything.
I know.
And be experts on everything.
That's what I was just going to say. It's like, you are considered stupid. Like, him not knowing what a mocktail, people be like, you don't know what a mocktail is. It's like...
You know what my favourite thing to say?
I'm bored.
One of my favourite things to say at the moment, 2 things. One is, I don't know anything about that.
Yes. Oh my God. I love pretending I don't know what things are or who people are, especially like...
I've never heard of that.
Yes. So fun. I like to do that when I don't want to get involved in drama, when I fully know who everyone is. Like, people will be like bitching about people, especially in comedy or whatever, or even in school, whatever. And someone would be like, and did you hear this thing happen to this thing? I said, never heard of either of those people. It's like...
I don't know anything about that.
I know you know those people. I'm like,
and also because I just don't want to engage in conversation.
Yes. It's such a good, like, quick, just like... parachute,
and
get out of there.
It's a polite decline. It's a polite decline, I know.
That's true. It's going, I don't want to discuss this issue and I don't really care.
The other thing is, if someone goes, what's been happening? And this is similar to the fine people. Okay. What's been happening? I'll go, oh, not much, same old. And I'm like...
Also, when you say that to me, it means you don't want to talk.
No, it's just like, I just don't, like, I just can't be fucked with getting into the nitty gritty.
Yes.
And sometimes it is just same old, but sometimes I'm also like...
But that's also why I lie about my mental health a lot, because when someone goes, how are you? And I'm like, I'm fine.
Just keep it light and fluffy.
Yes.
Light and fluffy. And you know how people do the ins and outs of the year?
No. Oh my God. They'll go like in this year, out that year. And
one of my ins was, one of my outs was therapy language outside the therapy room.
Okay. Now, one of my episodes is not out about this, but in one of my other episodes that will be out soon, well, it's already out by the point this is out, I say about how too many people have access to therapy now.
No, that's a good thing. Sorry. No. People go into therapy?
Because then people weaponize the therapy outside of therapy. Okay. And so then we're over-therapized. And then I'm like, I don't really want to hear you tell me about my childhood trauma while we're having coffee at 9
No, that's what I mean. Sorry. So, no, therapy is great. I believe everyone should go to therapy. But what I'm saying is keep therapy at therapy.
In
the space with a trained professional. Because I'm like, now every coffee catch-up's become a gaslighting narcissist unpacking session. And I'm like, I just want to talk about the latest episode of the TV show that we're watching. Like,
can't we just keep it light?
Light and fluff.
Light and fluff. That's what's in this year, light and fluff.
That's what it is. So
I finished a friendship recently. Not recently, but like
right now.
Right now, thank you for playing.
Live on podcast. Yeah. And it was iconic.
And wasn't it iconic these last 2 years since you renovated?
That would be such
me bringing you here to end the friendship.
Yeah, friendship. I'd love that. Yeah, go on.
I used to have a friend who was big on therapy and would literally we'd be talking about anything and they would just offer the feedback. They'd be like, well, you know the reason why you're single is, and I'm like, let me stop you right here. I go to therapy every 3 weeks when I can afford $200 and I'm not asking for your free help because you're fucked. You're actually fucked. I don't need your opinion.
I did it for a long time and I've been guilty of that myself, and then I realized it services no one and it gets you nowhere. And
well, the beautiful thing about a therapist therapizing me is I don't know what shit choices you're making in your fucking life, so I'm not judging you. You can give me objective thoughts about my life and I respect your opinion. But when I know that my friend makes bad choices, relationship choices, friend choices, and then they have the audacity to therapize me, I'm like, who the fuck are you now? I've seen what you choose to do with your life. You shouldn't be doshing out advice.
And what I've done now is to give advice, I'll speak in a life lesson of my own.
Yeah.
So if you're going through something, I'll go.
The only thing
Well, no, I'll be like, when I went through something similar, I did this, and so it's not advice. It's just being like, in that situation, I've done this. You're just
being like, this is how it relates to me. I saw something.
Like this is how I responded to.
Yeah.
So take or leave.
I think that's just being like the only thing. So I try to do that too, where I'll be like, I'll literally say like, all I could relate it to, like if someone's like complained about a relationship, I'll be like, well, all I can connect with it is when I had a friend who was like this is how I felt. Who are you smiling at?
No, I just went forward and I thought I'd give it a smile. Yeah. Yeah.
I just thought I'd give them a little smile. Yeah, give them a cheeky something. We're halfway. May as well.
I'm so jazzy.
Are you jazzed to be on the pod? How's it going so far? I feel like I'm worried it's not as fun as it should be.
I couldn't be more present.
Really? Oh, that's lovely. No, it is. And this is why this is the thing, right? This is why I love the pod, and this is why I like doing stand-up. And I feel like maybe for you, your Iron Man makes you really present. Because
yeah, sure. But
it grounds you. Whereas for me, when I'm on stage, I literally, I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, I don't even think about, I'm not even like, oh, I'm in my body, or I'm moving my body like this. I'm like so present, and I feel like we very rarely get those experiences anymore.
And I feel like, when you activate Siri and you just get that little bubble,
like buffer
that's what
thing.
I feel like right now.
Really?
I just feel like a little ball of like buzzing energy.
Maybe we got to get you on a pod, get you a pod.
I'm human, but I also don't feel I'm very happy guesting.
Yeah, but you don't want to spearhead your own. I feel like in the last few years you've really learned yourself. I know that sounds so lame as we're talking about therapy.
But I have.
I know. Isn't that kind of lame to say? Isn't that so embarrassing? It's like you're supposed to... I had this thought, then I was going to put it down for the pod to discuss, but then I just didn't. But I thought, isn't it crazy that we just spend our whole lives getting to know ourselves? Yuck!
I think what's happened is like when I got to 19, 20, I felt like I had to put on my big boy boots and be like, I'm an adult now, so no time for fun.
Yeah.
And then I got to 30 and the hourglass turned upside down again, and I was like, why did I stop doing all the things that I loved as a kid?
But I think that happens. I think that's what, when people get older, they start
reconnecting. It's sort of a nostalgic activity, but it's I was like, oh, I loved riding my bike as a kid. Why did I stop doing that? I loved playing board games.
Yeah.
I loved why did all this thing that I was like,
I think it's the whole girls of it all.
And,
the TV show Girls, where it's your 20s is so hard in quotes, where it's you're figuring out who you are and shit, and then by the time you're 30, you're like.
I think it's almost like the Wizard of Oz of it all, where I got to 30 and I'm like, I've been like this my whole life, and I've now clicked my ruby slippers and been like, no,
take me back.
And
wait,
I'm like,
you hit 30 and you were like, this is who I am?
No, in terms of I've always known, and it's just the same bitch that I was when I was 18.
Yeah.
And I was like, but I tried so hard to reject it when I got out of school. I was like, no, now I need to go.
Why?
I think because I don't know. I think I went through a lot And then it was just like
were
trauma manifested.
Yeah, we're getting the word trauma has been co-opted.
No, but
therapy.
like true trauma, like genuine,
like actual
authentic, not bootleg trauma, like genuine white collar trauma, and like.
Not some of this bullshit you were pretending to have.
Not this knockoff trauma, like genuine, proper trauma product.
Okay, yeah.
And I think a lot of that just manifested in other ways where I was like, in order to protect myself from that, you
want to get away from the thing.
Vent other barriers.
God.
But
it's beautiful you've come back to yourself.
I honestly, I'm like, I finally feel like the same silly, goofy, goose 18-year-old that I was. And
I think also the older you get, you just like, not careless, but you just realize you're like, fuck it. This is who I am. And like, I actually can't. I'm tired.
And
why am I going to pretend to not be who I am for you?
Sure. And also like in the relationships that I've had for 20 years, 25 years, and then reconnecting with some of those that I've just like lost along the way just by like space and time. Yeah. But reconnecting with them, I'm like, oh my God, like you're so funny. Like, why did we ever lose touch? Or like, you're such a good friend and it's so good to see you again. So like it feels very Saturn return.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
What's your star sign?
Scorpio.
I know.
What sign?
We're having a joint birthday dinner tonight, actually.
Which is booze, yeah.
Well, it'll be a few weeks ago by the time this comes out. Now, what was your other thing that you wanted to discuss? Were you did you start it? Now I don't even remember.
So, sorry.
What was it? Therapy language?
Sorry, overanalyzing. Which is so ironic that we've just spent 15 minutes overanalyzing.
Okay.
But also, I'm
because my therapist tells me that I am someone who like overanalyzes and over-rationalizes. And so her thing is she's trying to force me to like be more in my feelings.
Right.
It's really hard.
And to actually feel them.
Yeah.
Because also...
to be able to even identify them.
I would say the same thing, and I'm so...
About me or about you?
No, sorry. I was about to say something.
Okay.
Conspiracy theories, it's the same thing.
Okay.
And sometimes things are like, it's actually, people try and find meaning in things because they can't make sense of it. So they try and add meaning to something that
So if you're trying to find like Bigfoot.
Right. Well, I'm more talking like your moon landings and your 9/11s where they're like, it's such an absurd thing to have occurred and happened.
Right.
That like people try and find meaning in it because
they're like, I can't comprehend someone landing on the moon, therefore I'm going to say it was done in a set.
But I can comprehend it being filmed in a TV series, right?
That's brilliant.
And sometimes, again, the conspiracy theories of life that you've told yourself through anxiety, I'm like, it's actually really simple.
Yeah.
Bring it back. It actually just, a man did actually just land on the moon. Like, and I know that...
Isn't it incredible? It's easy to comprehend a huge number of people have, like, created the scene of going on the moon rather than, like, just going on the moon.
It actually just happened.
It just happened.
And something terrible or tragic in your life could have happened. And you're going, why did this happen? Reason. It actually just happened.
It just happened. And you know what's amazing? Not to make it all about me, but, like... I understand how conspiracy theorists get to where they are.
It's fun.
But also...
And it's entertaining.
I can tell myself something enough that I then just... It is fact. I have a strong enough mind for that.
That's anxiety, bitch. Yeah.
Oh.
Well, and that's...
I thought we weren't going to therapize each other today.
No, but...
No, but I'm saying if I said to you, today was raining, 3 weeks, I'll look back and go, the day we filmed, it was raining. So wasn't that horrible?
So why don't you just say, Jess is amazing, Jess is amazing, Jess is amazing?
Can you not do that on this? You don't need to do that now.
Yeah.
I know. Well, I did try for about a month to do mantras every morning, and I really enjoyed it. I would wake up and like try to do it, and then I just fell out of the habit. But I do think it's good.
You do have to believe it. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
It's really
But it
hard.
does work. It does work.
Do you think so?
I think so. I mean, I've done it myself.
Do you do them?
Not mantras, but I think being kind to yourself and forgiving of yourself.
True. That's
okay,
so
now
true.
I'm doing my out, which I shouldn't be doing. So
what's your out?
We're talking about therapy outside of.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna skip this. Okay, so that was your point.
Yeah.
Now I am.
Which I've just done myself. So.
Okay, well, listen. You're working on yourself, aren't we all?
Yeah.
Now, my thing is, and I touched upon this in one of my last episodes, but and I said in the episode I don't have the time to kind of dig deep into this, so we'll just do this now. I don't have a top lip.
What do you mean? I'm looking at it right now.
I just don't really have one.
I think it's in contrast to your bottom lip.
Which is much bigger.
Which is lush.
Like, yes.
You have a top lip comparable to mine.
No. Your top lip is almost bigger than your bottom lip in length.
I had braces for 2.5 years.
Does that do
I think
something?
they flipped my lips out, yeah.
Really?
That's my conspiracy. Sorry. No, but I genuinely...
I've literally never heard someone say that before.
Okay, I know big lips are in vogue and all that. And people
it's not about big. It's not about big. Let me be clear.
But people are like, oh, did you get injections and stuff? And I'm like, not once, never.
Honey,
and I'm like, it's just in vogue, right?
It's just right now, it's trendy to have a big lip.
Yeah.
But my thing is, I think there's twofold to this anger point. First point is no top lip.
Who for?
Just myself. And also various other people, but mainly myself. But then the second point is, just like get over it. I can't have yet another thing that I'm like obsessed with trying to change with my body. So I think there's
I love you so much. Sorry, I'm just sitting here admiring you and I'm like,
it's because you're getting a live. This is literally like people. This is like
this is my fucking fantasy right now, and like it is like if this
me
was
telling you about my top lip, and you like literally
just happening live in real time, and it's like if this would be my make a wish. This would be like I'm seeing it play out in front of me, and it's
actually to be
overjoyed.
Unfathomable that anyone actually enjoys what I say that much. Like I know people do, but I just
genuinely
think it's so
love you
funny.
so much. I genuinely like obsessed, and I just am so blessed.
It's just because it makes you feel like you're listening to Susie from Curb.
Which is and exactly right.
So
but
I
I knew
you
from the moment that I met you at Potts Point Hotel, I was like, I just want Jess in my life.
Stop it.
I really have so much space and time for you.
That's so kind. I feel the same to you.
Just like adore you.
Stop.
I'm so sorry.
I can't, Alex, cut this out.
No, don't keep it in.
Cut this out, Alex. No one needs to see this.
No one can see you smile and be happy. Yeah, it's bad for the brand. It's bad for the brand.
You know what I find funny? It is bad for the brand because because the brand is like bold. Okay, what would you say the brand is? Let's do this exercise because you're like in this world. You can brand me.
I would say your brand is.
This is breaking the mold of my podcast
sharp, strong opinion.
Okay. But like
aesthetically or
we
verbally?
Can do aesthetically, but what I'm curious about is like would you say like confident or like
of course
not confident, but like words like that? Because my thing is, I feel then when you say something nice and I get bashful, that doesn't work.
Because I think I see the real you.
Can you not? Can you? Don't point at me like that. What I'm saying is then that I feel like, but how does someone with confidence respond to someone?
You know, one of my favorite things in life. You know, one of my favorite things is when someone drops their guard down, and I feel like you drop your guard down around me.
I feel confident, but when people give me genuine compliments, it's so uncomfortable.
I know you find it uncomfortable,
so weird.
But you need to hear it.
Yeah, but then so when someone gives you a compliment, what do? You just
I
go,
say thank
you.
you. But that's taken a lot of work. But if someone gives me a genuine compliment, and you know what I say, if someone gives me a physical compliment, I always go, and thanks, I feel really good too.
Oh,
because I want them to know.
Someone goes, your legs look amazing,
or like you're looking great. I'll be like, thanks, and I'm feeling it too. Because I want them to know. Because I'm like,
I feel like we're Oprah and Gail or something because you're like saying something.
I'm Gail,
and it's like shaking the hand.
No, but genuinely because I'm like, I know it sounds so fucking corny and cringe. I know. But
no, it's
but
good.
Like I'm like I genuinely do. Like I genuinely.
No, that's beautiful. But what if you feel like really shit? Good. What do you do?
I'll tell them. But
so if someone goes, "You look amazing," you go, "Well, I don't feel it."
But one of my first boyfriends, he'd be like, "Oh, you're so cute," and I'd be like, "Yeah, and funny."
Because you wanted him to value you for more than just what you look like?
I couldn't give two fucking tosses about like how people physically see me. I know
okay.
But like what I value, and this might be interesting to you or what you value.
I have a point about
this. I
would
love, like my therapist called me intelligent and I was like near tears. I was like, you think I'm intelligent? I was like, and
you're like, speak more about that for another hour.
He was like,
thanks.
Yeah, do people not? I'm like, no, people think I'm so dumb.
No, they don't. Yeah, I would never think that of you.
But it's
I think that's your insecurity.
Because I listened to the Nick White podcast, obviously, twice. Yes, and when he was talking about, I think it was like the big head thing.
Yes.
But when someone compliments me on something that I'm insecure about, maybe like my intelligence or my humor, I find that is like gold.
Now, see, and that's because my theory on life is like we always want what we don't have. So like my like conventionally attractive thin girlfriends who guys have always just like gagged for, all they want is for a guy to just like care about their personality and like really like who they are and think they're funny and stuff.
Is that me?
Yeah, that's my girlfriends. my conventionally attractive thin girlfriends. That's you, doll.
Slide goose to the camera like... I see you. I hear you. Carry on, yeah.
Whereas for me, I could not care less what you think of my intellect, my personality, because I've got it on lock. I couldn't... If someone was like, you're not funny, I'd be like, well, you're wrong, so I don't care. Do you know what I mean? If someone told me that I'm not funny to them, I I wouldn't think of them twice.
Right.
It wouldn't touch.
So what would cut deep?
Anything related to what I look like.
Right. So when I go,
but that's what I'm saying. But that's the thing. My point is that it's just like truly, it's just truly, it's like whatever you didn't, and this is the whole therapy thing of it all. It's like whatever your young child didn't have viewed or valued. Because I think I would never have thought intellect for you.
I didn't have it, or
no, that would be your like soft spot.
Oh, like
or funny.
Absolutely. And again, I think in high school I was repeatedly told I was so dumb all the time.
But see, I was too, but I think I was told just enough that it pushed me over the edge where I go, all right, well, it obviously doesn't matter to me because I'll never be smart, and then now it doesn't bother me.
Reflecting on it, I was actually like, no, you're all dumb, and I'm speaking about stuff that you don't understand.
Like landing on the moon was
you're
done.
Juvenile little boys.
You're a fucking Jew. Wait, so the young guys in your school called you stupid?
Just like my peers. They were just like, oh, Tim's so stupid. You know?
About what?
Oh, just literally anything.
Really?
Yeah,
what were you talking about?
These are the people I'm friends with, but I was just known as the like dumb airhead.
Really?
Yeah.
Were you good at school? You didn't care?
Good enough. But also I'm like...
No, that's utterly fascinating to me. I would have thought you were very studious.
Thank you. And I slayed uni and then getting communications. And then... and then UTS.
So same.
Yeah.
What years?
Started 2014.
We're
the same age,
we would have... No, I know, but we would have been there at the exact same time.
Which kills me. Which actually kills me.
How the hell did that not...
How
did we not cross over?
I don't know. I really don't know.
That seems criminal.
And then to get into psych, I'm like, what is life?
Because
I can't believe it.
Because you can't believe it.
I can't
believe you can't believe.
Yeah, so if I went back to like
Tim just got into psych and you'll be starting
at Sydney Uni.
And you're so excited.
Yeah, extremely excited. But again, that is such a fuck you to myself. You know what I mean? To be like, look at you, bitch.
Like you got in and you like can't believe it.
What's also I
can't believe you didn't. Did you not know? Did you not think about doing it after high school?
No, I didn't care too much, and also because I'd been repeatedly told I was so stupid for so long.
You didn't believe in yourself.
And
you know what's crazy? I got into psych at UNSW.
And you didn't do it?
No, I did for 2 years, and then they started trying to make me do math, and I said,
no, thank you.
I'll be doing arts.
Yeah, I could talk to you for days, honestly. Okay, my final one is interested to know your thoughts on this.
Yep.
Is cattiness.
Love that.
Reason being,
You're pro or anti?
I'm anti.
You're anti-cat.
I'm anti-cat.
Okay.
Reason being is because like I think I energy match. So if you come at me with kindness and niceness and stuff like that, I will give it right back. I will absolutely meet your politeness, your energy, your kindness, all of that, and that's my preferred default interaction, as I'm sure it is with maybe most mentally healthy people.
I'd say so.
Dig. And then, it's quite. I wouldn't say it's quite common, but it's not uncommon for gay men to be quite catty to me online in order to evoke a response. Here's the plot twist.
Response meaning they just want you to reply, so they'll say something to get your attention?
Correct.
Gotcha.
Here's the plot twist. I reply anyway. And like I treat my DMs like an inbox, and I will sit at my computer and I'll go, thanks so much, Jess, or I'll be like, have a great day, Jess, or like I will sit there methodically.
Nice or mean, you're getting a response from Tim Abbott, so don't be mean.
Correct. And so I will sit there and I'll just write, right? And I'll do it. I'll sit down for 30 minutes a day and just reply to all.
That's so good of you.
As many as I possibly can, right?
Yeah.
And then, but if someone comes at me to be catty and I'm like, you're doing this to get a rise out of me, and boy, oh boy, do they. Because I'm like...
Now, this is going to sound victim blamey, but like, do people do that because they're trying to flirt, but they misdirect and they don't get it? Okay.
Correct.
Yeah,
I often think it's flirting. Like, I got one on my birthday the other day that was like, I did like a story for my birthday, and someone was like, oh no, ... he's a Scorpio, eye roll. And I just blocked them. And do you know what I mean? And again, do you know what I mean? And they were like, they were also like objectively quite good looking, but I was like, I don't want that energy around here.
No, and I will argue that person was trying to flirt. Not saying it's right, but I'm saying perhaps they were.
If you want to flirt, tell me that my smile looks nice.
Be like, or just be like, I've heard good things about Scorpios, or I've heard that there's so many ways you can like be sexy and flirty.
The eye roll, the ...
Weird.
I was like, and so I was like, I actually loathe cattiness.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if you come at me catty, don't be shocked if I come at you, catty. And then they're like, whoa, where's this coming from? And I'm like, you
started
bitch.
it.
Because I ain't for sure messaging strangers on the internet being an asshole. Like, you are.
The way the liberties people take on the internet of giving their opinion is fucking interesting. It should be studied. I'm sure it is. But it's like the fact that someone, because 10 years ago, 20 years ago, they wouldn't have had access to you on that level unless they would have said it to your face.
But I was going to say the parasocial I have with a lot of people online is so lovely and so mutually motivating.
Yes.
There are people that I've never met overseas that might be like, oh, I started doing the 75 hard charge because of you, and like, here are my results. And I'm like, that's amazing, well done. Yeah. Or like we just bond over Kath and Kim, or something very trivial.
Literally anything.
Matter.
Yeah.
But I'm like, if you come at me being an asshole, boy, oh boy. Buckle up.
Now here's the thing. I know someone who's incredibly negative and catty and bitchy in person, right? Mm-hmm. Every time I see this person, I can't help but like, now I'm trying to practice like not being on their level, because I find it really hard to like, they'll be like, oh, it's almost like when someone's just so negative and you're just like meeting it with this kind of wave of positivity, but it's not even hitting them, and then it's so hard.
I'm not talking about anger or frustration. That's very healthy, very normal.
No, I'm saying like they're catty. Like what you're saying, you're getting in the DMs, like they're like that IRL.
Maybe 12 months ago, I would have fought back. Now I just straight up block. And I go...
But how would you handle it in person?
I just shut down. I go, you lose all energy, respect, engagement from me, because I'm like, it's also like, it's like mold. I want to be nowhere near it.
I agree. And you know what? I think...
Stay far away.
I think that this response is a reflection of your personal growth, because I'll say this.
Did I used to surround myself with mold, or...
You are surrounded by... No, but you not wanting to engage at all, or you're just going block because...
Not for a second.
But I think that's beautiful. Because I remember years ago, I had a friend, and she would always talk about her body in this really negative way.
Sure.
And I'm just doing what we're doing before about bringing a personal anecdote to the situation. Yeah. My anecdote is this. She would always say really mean things about her body, and it was like, ha ha ha, okay, fine, it doesn't sound good, but fine, whatever. And then when I moved back from America, I felt like I had changed how I wanted to speak about my body, and then I would hang around her and she'd be like, oh, I'm such a like ugly fat shit, and she would say it as a joke, in quotes. Yeah, we're not really digging into this one quite deep. Yeah. But I got to the point where I went, I actually don't like being around it, because I don't want to think about myself that way, and I don't want to talk about people that way, so I'm just going to not do it. And it was like, oh, a few years ago, I wouldn't have thought. I would have been like, haha, oh. But now I'm like, no. Now it's actually boundary.
It is a flat no. And I know two things.
Also, I want to say, we started with the 3 pillows equally distributed on this couch, and we've now ended with, I don't have a single one, and you have all 3.
And they've just naturally...
I gave you one.
No, there you go.
No. I just want to say, I like you getting really comfortable. Okay. And why you covering your crotch? And
it's just nice and
it's
cozy.
Just comfortable, yeah. Anyway.
I know 2 things for fact, Jess.
Here we go.
2 things for an absolute fact.
Yes. I can't wait to hear them.
One is that there is no person who thinks well of themselves is being mean to other people.
Facts.
I know that for a fact.
That's so true. That's so true.
And I'm not saying they're toxically positive, but people that feel good about themselves are not picking apart other people.
No, I agree. And that's not toxic. I hate toxic positivity as well. I agree with that. Not agree. You didn't make a point about that, so you can speak to whatever you want about that. But I agree. I'm not happy all the time. I'll be the first to tell you. But I would never consciously be mean to someone.
You wouldn't sit here and be like, oh, they dress poorly, they do this.
No, I couldn't care less.
Correct, and nor could I.
Yeah.
But I know for a fact the people that I know who are the happiest and the most wholesome and lovely, they don't do that. And the people that I know that are most miserable do that. I know that for a fact. The second thing is, I also know for a fact, is that what I put online is very cautiously, and not toxic positively, but innocent and wholesome. Like, and I do that, and that's by design, because I don't want to welcome the discourse of negativity. I don't care for it. I don't have the time for it. At most,
well, there's just so many spaces you can have that if you want that. Sure. Feel free, go find it.
Go hang out with your friends.
You don't need to be the birthplace.
I don't want to be the
epicenter. You don't
epicenter or anchor.
Yeah, totally.
I know for a fact. At most, I'll be like, I didn't like that movie. At most.
Yeah. Which is also a personal opinion. You're allowed to have that opinion. You don't need to...
At most.
Yeah.
What I'd prefer to say is talk about the things that I do like. 100%.
Yeah.
So when someone on top of that is on top of that caddy, I'm like, I'm not sitting here having a rant or a bitch about something that you want to join in on.
Yes.
But you've seen this opportunity for being like, I just went to Las Vegas, which I loved. I loved the city, to see my favorite artist, Lady Gaga, and someone would be like, oh, well, she told Taylor Swift to hold her beer.
Oh, okay.
Which is an actual message I got. And I'm like...
What do you want me to do about that too? But there are some people that cannot experience joy.
Or accept that I might be happy.
Yeah.
And so I'll look at that and I'll be like, you've just seen someone who's gone, I'm having a great time on a holiday seeing my favorite artist. And you saw that and went, I need to tell him that I love Taylor Swift more. Are you fucked? Are you fucked in the head? Sorry. That actually, so this when you say hatred and what gets me riled up, it's this.
This is it. I feel that.
I'm like, so you've seen me talk about something positive, and you go, I need to give my fucking 2 cents about something that I really hate.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this, and I'm
unwell.
Unwell.
You know what I'm blanketing that? Unwell.
So Jerry Seinfeld, I was listening to a podcast with him today.
Right.
And he was talking about hecklers, and he was referencing some other comedian who used to say something, blah, blah, blah. I'm only saying Jerry because I don't remember all the other parts of the equation, so whatever. But he was saying there used to be a comedian who would talk about hecklers, and he would say how someone would heckle and this person would reply and be like... So it was something to the effect of like, yeah, well, it's a good thing we all have microphones. Like the whole thing of like, you don't have one, I have one, you've come here to see me. And he was equating it to like today where it's like, everyone's got a microphone. Everyone's got a microphone. Everyone's got their phone to put their opinion out.
An imaginary microphone.
Yes,
and here's the thing.
A metaphorical microphone. As in we all have our phones to like live our opinions loudly, and I think there's so many great things that people can create community and whatever, but it is that thing where it's like sometimes it just feels like you can't make anyone happy online, and you're like, do you just spend your day just commenting miserable things? Like sometimes I'll put something up.
They literally...
I put a clip up from one of my podcasts about my birthday, and it was silly. It's about singing happy birthday song, being like, oh my God, it's awkward when people make eye contact with you. Whatever, just dumb. And someone's like, well, people like it because they're celebrating their birthday with their friends and their family and they're this and that. Suck my dick. Unwell.
And the thing is, like, we live now with like Foxtel on steroids. That's cable for the US listeners.
Yeah. Thank you for my converting.
And like, if I was flicking channels and I was like, no, don't like this show. Don't like How I Met Your Mother. Don't like, Big Bang Theory, whatever. I press up and I flick channels. Yes. If you don't like something,
that's what I do when I scroll.
Exactly, because you're well.
Yeah, I'm well, and these people unwell.
Well,
I guess so.
And again, like and again, this is what's also crazy. I'm like, if I was talking about meaningful topics, and when I talk about meaningful topics, about things that are like things that are important topics in the world, the environment, politics, society,
rights,
money,
people's rights, blah blah blah,
and
blah,
people
blah.
feel some sort of way and comment. I'm welcoming that sort of commentary into my life, but I'm like. I don't talk about those things.
Yeah. Well, by
design. I would love to.
This is the
thing.
I
would love to.
I don't put any big issues on my Instagram because I'm happy to talk about them, but my platform is stand-up comedy. Right. So if I'm going to give you my opinion about women's rights or whatever, come and see me do it in my platform where I can articulate myself well. But sharing one tile on Instagram is not how I talk. It's not how I give my opinion. I understand that people maybe that don't have a platform, who don't
perceive it that way,
that they go, this is all I can do. I can only put my opinion out here like this. Fine, okay. But it's it's the same. You wouldn't expect an artist who paints to give you their that's how they express themselves.
We shouldn't be looking to them for opinions.
This is the other thing. People giving comedians specifically, can only say it from my perspective, people holding comedians to a really high standard is so funny to me because you've met all of my comedian friends, comedians.
Yeah.
We should not be the arbiters of information. We're literally just
who's really good at that?
Who?
The fucking news.
Well...
And that's what their job is.
I know, which is a whole other kettle of fish. Yeah. Honestly. Well, listen, cattiness, let's just put a bow on that one. I agree with you. If you had to give people to combat cattiness to the camera. Tell them how they can handle cattiness if they come up against it.
If you come up again, well, my strategy is just block and delete.
Great,
remove,
I think that's good.
Separate.
Block
again,
and delete.
Treat cattiness like mold, spray some bleach on it, and move on. Yeah,
And would your strata allow you to do that?
Yeah. Actually,
so we
funnily
come full
enough,
circle.
we do have a mold problem, and they do nothing about it. They do absolutely nothing about it.
Strata, it's like trust people with no power, like Strata doing nothing about mold is like, but then you make me
do all the paperwork. Yeah.
Do all paperwork about putting a
waterproofing. Yeah.
Waterproofing. I don't understand. Anyway, we've got plans.
We've got
thank
dinner
you for
plans.
coming on as a guest.
Did
it do everything that you were hoping?
I need to thank you.
I need to thank you for listening and getting my numbers up.
I pushed the needle by 1. Me.
Yeah, literally.
But Jess, truly, honestly,
don't do the sincere thing here. We're just going to wrap it up.
Okay. See everyone.
Do you want to plug anything about yourself? Like you can find.
No.
Okay.
I'm at Tim Abbott on Insta.
Yeah.
If you like ordinary life updates.
If you want, I love them.
My life updates.
100%. I reply.
I'll pop
to them
online
often.
every 4 weeks and be like, "Hey guys, this is what's been happening."
And I love it, and it's so funny.
But also, like, I don't. It's not designed to be funny.
That's why it's funny.
That's why it's funny.
There is a sincerity to you that is comical. That is, like you said today, like a character. Like you are the character version of yourself.
I'm gonna name drop. I was talking to Joel Creasy about it, and because him and I have only met a couple of times, but we've DM a lot.
Yeah.
And I was like, Joel, I actually think one of my biggest pitfalls or downfalls. I
think both.
Is I'm painfully sincere.
Yeah.
And genuinely so. And so like sometimes I think my sincerity is misled as sarcasm. And I'm like, no, I'm like,
I know.
genuinely sincere.
I think I could see how people misinterpret it. I think it's hilarious. And I think it's beautiful. Thanks for listening. And
I'll be back very soon.
Absolutely. Bye.
Bye.